everyone, welcome back to Simulated Heaven, and welcome back to Assetto Corsa. As you can see, driving off in the distance is an MX5. Actually, for this bit, let's try and get inside the car. So, as you can see, I'm in Assetto Corsa and I'm trying out a modded Mazda MX5. It's been around a fair amount of time, not that long, but it was recently updated. I thought I would give it a go because usually I like MX5s, and of course I'm at the Nordschleiffe. I thought it would be interesting to see how I enjoyed driving this car at Nordschleiffe. This was actually my second lap. I was just starting the second lap in this car. Now, a lot of people might think it's kind of boring and slow to drive around here in a Mazda MX5, but personally I really enjoyed it because the Mazda MX5 is a driver's car. It's got really good handling, and in a way it's kind of more challenging to drive this kind of car around here than a supercar or a fast car, because this car you need to hold on to the momentum a lot. If you don't hold on to the momentum, or if you're in the wrong gear at the wrong time, it can really slow you down. And of course, even though I've done so many laps at the Nordschleife, I still don't know the track perfectly, but especially like the first half of the track I know pretty well by now, but to be honest, the last quarter at least, even the last third, I still get mixed up with some of the corners. But yeah, anyway, I mean, I'm really enjoying, and again I'm doing a replay because I find I'm not very good at doing live commentary because I have to really focus when I'm driving, and otherwise I'll just drive really badly. So that's why I've been doing lots of replays recently. I need to remember not to have the mouse kind of in the way. Okay, so let's move to an outside car view. I went off a bit there, look. So that's the outside of the vehicle. Now, actually, before we go outside, so talking about this mod, I am really impressed with the modelling of this mod. The interior, in my humble opinion, looks pretty amazing. I mean, it really looks the same as the real car. Everything is modelled in a lot of detail. I'm really impressed with the modelling, and even outside as well. Like, I'm pretty impressed with the outside. We can see more of the outside by going to an outside camera. I mean, I think the modelling of this car, outside and inside, looks absolutely amazing, and they've obviously taken a lot of time to really model the dynamics of the car as well, and the handling and everything, because I think this car handle, I mean, obviously actually I've never actually driven a real MX5, but to me this car feels and handles exactly how this car should. And I would love to know if there's anyone out there that owns this car and has actually driven it in a Assetto Corsa. I'd love to know how realistic it is, really. But I mean, it's a lot of fun. The back end will come out. It's really a lot of fun to drive. I mean, obviously the engine size is not that big, so it is quite a slow vehicle, but the handling certainly makes up for that. The one thing I would say is that the force feedback on my Thrustmaster T500 is good. It does feel good, but sometimes I do feel there are some gaps or some things that are not there that should be there. So, for example, recently I've been playing a lot of GameStop Car Extreme, and if you were to compare a similar car in that and in a Assetto Corsa, you just get more of a constant feeling of what is going on. A Assetto Corsa is still really good, but in my humble opinion, it still is not the apex of force feedback. Now, of course, as always, I have to say this could be because of my Thrustmaster T500. I mean, I have taken a lot of time to dial this wheel into Assetto Corsa, but still, of course, you know, it still might not be perfect, but I believe I've got a good level of settings, and still there are times in Assetto Corsa that I just feel the force feedback is not the absolute apex. It is still very good. It is still excellent, and I think this is a problem not with the makers of the mod. I think this is more of a general thing with the game itself. It is amazing, and like when the car is losing grip and stuff like that, you do get really good force feedback and a really good feeling. But there are just other times when it just goes kind of empty at times, when they should add more things in there to make it more realistic feeling, and that is the kind of feeling that I get like a lot in games Stock Car Extreme and R Factor 2, but I don't really get as much in Assetto Corsa. But anyway, putting all of that aside, and why don't we go back into the inside. Whoa, look at this one. Yeah, like, even after all of that, I've been having a lot of fun with this MX5 around here. I mean, I just love driving around the Nordschleife. I mean, in my opinion, well, I mean, it is my favourite track in this game. And I do also have the Nordschleife on Game Stock Car Extreme, and it's really good, but this is just the ultimate version because, you know, it's a DLC, it's not a mod, it's actually a paid for version of the tracks, which has been modelled so nicely, so beautifully, and I just love driving around it. Almost any time I start up Assetto Corsa, I just think I only want to drive the Nordschleife, and still I don't know the track that well, which is kind of funny. So yeah, so I would highly recommend that you guys go and have a lot. Of course, as always, I'll put a link in the description for this MX5 for the mod. And if you guys haven't yet bought the DLC, I believe it's called Dream Pack. I think it's the only DLC available for Assetto Corsa at this moment. I would highly recommend that as well, just for the Nordschleife. I think this track is amazing. Just blows me away every time, and it's also a really good idea that you drive around here in lots of different kinds of cars. Don't only drive around in supercars and stuff like that. You know, in the last video I did on Assetto Corsa, I did a Lada around here, and this time an MX5, and then maybe next time I will do a supercar, but it just really adds to my enjoyment, and this bit here was kind of fun. Whee! It kind of adds to my enjoyment of the track and the game by just trying out lots of different vehicles on this track. So there you go, guys. We're getting quite near the end of the lap, and we're kind of getting into the part of the track that, even though I've driven this track a lot, I still get mixed up with some of these corners. I kind of have a vague idea, but I wouldn't say that I know it perfectly at this point. It's kind of, you know, I mean, if you can imagine how many corners there are on this track, it takes a long time for you to learn this stuff, like a long time. But as you know from this channel, I don't really drive this or play these sim games so that I can be a pro racer. I drive them for fun, and you know, I don't have to be the fastest or the best out there. As long as I'm having fun, that is the main thing in my opinion. And on a bit of a side note, I did recently try to play a bit of iRacing, but for some reason I couldn't actually connect to the server. I tried to join a practice and it wouldn't let me connect to a server, because I haven't really played iRacing for a while, and I just thought it would be interesting, like, to go back to iRacing and see if it has changed at all. So maybe I'll work out what the problem is, and maybe I might be able to get into iRacing as well. And I know that recently I've been doing a lot of videos about racing simulators, but I do have on the horizon, hopefully in the not too distant future, I want to do some videos on train simulator. I have some new content which is really cool on that, so I'm hoping in the not too distant future that I'll be able to have a train sim video out. So all you guys that don't really like racing games, have no fear, there will be other content that will be coming hopefully in the not too distant future. So as always guys, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.